Fascinated about the French Resistance. Probably the clothing is the hardest thing. Research is everything. It's not something you're going to learn overnight.
Today we have Dan, who is quite a veteran of French Resistance reenacting.
I guess I am, yep. I'm old enough now, so yeah.
How did you choose to portray the French Resistance in the beginning?
First I started off with Civil War. I did that, and then I kind of aged out of that. And then I got into World War II, and I joined a German unit, which I really enjoyed. But at the events, I could never bring any of my kids, which were all young at the time. So I went and I seen the French. I really was fascinated about the French Resistance. And also too, at the time, Adrian, who's the commander, I asked him if my kids were welcome, and he said, yeah, absolutely, bring them. He goes, I'd love that. So my two boys actually grew up doing this for like 7 or 8 years. So they got to see all the different camps in history, and actually they were kind of put on the spot, so they actually had to learn themselves about the French Resistance, which was good. So it was an educational thing, and it was time to spend with my boys and have a good time, and that's memories that I'll always have with them.
One of the things I'd say is really hard to get into this is research.
Honestly, I would think if you're interested in French Resistance, there's a book, Soldiers of the Night. It's a long read, but I would say that would be where you'd start out at. So it's Soldiers of the Night, but that's a really good start to see actually the different factions of the French Resistance. I mean, they knew the Allies were going to win, so they were kind of like communists were handing in the Free French and the different groups. So it's fascinating. I really was fascinated about the French Resistance and about how they resisted in various means by machining things a couple thousandths larger or smaller, just like minute things, anything to stop the German war machine.
What is the hardest thing of your French Resistance kit that was hardest for you to get? And then how'd you go about finding it?
Probably clothing. A lot of the clothing at the time, just finding the right shirts. Footwear's not too bad. That's pretty standardized. You can, you can wear German equipment if you need it for boots. I know they sell reproduction French 1917 shoes. You could buy those, but probably the clothing. Honestly, the clothing, the research, the photos. You know, they had city, they had country. So, you know, depending on what job occupation you had. What was really cool, I think, was I had a guy sew up one of the French workers' jackets that I wore for a while, which is a nice blue, and that's what most men at that time would wear. But I would say probably the clothing is the hardest thing. Weapons are easy. Equipment for the weapons, there's really not a standard equipment as far as, like, you know, you can have basically a bread bag and carry your ammo and everything in there. But I would say the clothing. Clothing's the biggest thing. Hardest thing to do.
I think something interesting I want to highlight too is when you're talking about the workers' blue, because that's a very different than what you find in the U.S.
Correct. It's I don't even know if they call it like an indigo blue, but it's they have reproduction ones, or they have workers' coats that are European, but it's not the same color.
Which is very different than the U.S., which would have been starting to use like a blue jean type material.
Correct, like a denim. Yep.
And then I also think that was also used in hats, wasn't it?
Yes.
Anything that you would like drop as a nugget of wisdom to someone who is starting reenacting, or even a behind the scenes moment for someone who's not reenacting?
Research is everything. So just reading about it. I'm the one who likes books. So I actually like the hardback books to read. It's not something you're going to learn overnight. It's something you're always learning and continue to learn. And then I would say focus on an area. So there's like southern France, there's the coastal towns, which a lot of coastal towns were taken over by the Germans, and residents weren't even allowed in there. So I would just say pick a region that you kind of like in France, and then read about that region and the politics, and it's just research. It's all research.
I'm assuming you chose a region based on your nugget there. What region was it, and like why?
Yeah, I like northern France, just because with the food. And the climate's the very same as here in Ohio, so that's why I chose northern France, and plus all the beginning of the war, all the troop movements, U.S. troop movements.
Anything else for reenactors?
I guess just have fun with it. You know, do the research, have fun educating people about it, and it's fun playing.
Well, thank you, Dan. I think that's a good way to end this.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
The human aspect of reenacting is one of the things I enjoy the most, getting to communicate, talk to other people, and sit down with other reenactors like Dan. I appreciate getting his perspective, and it's always interesting listening to other reenactors who've also spent years building their impressions, studying, and learning. I hope you found this video interesting. Please make sure to subscribe. There'll be a lot more things coming down the road, including other interviews, but also a lot of hands-on historical based videos and projects. And also there's a bunch of other cleaning and restoration and repair projects I need to get around to as well. So thank you for watching. This is Brave Builds, where history, kit, and reenacting all come together to help us build a better understanding of their bravery, because their stories deserve to be remembered.